Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that you're able to join us today, virtually, of course. I wish we could be there with you in person, but thank you so much for tuning in to our video. I am Alexa Waco from Soho Teen. I'm an editor and publicist, and today I'm going to talk to you about some of Soho Teen's upcoming titles, depending on when you're watching this, and then also just some of our noteworthy titles from 2020 and a little bit before. So first, I guess I'm just going to jump in to so I will start with Finding My Voice by Marie Myung-Ok Lee. This one is new to Soho Teen and Soho Press, but not new to publishing in general. Finding My Voice is actually a reissue and a repackage of a YA classic, Finding My Voice, which was originally published in the early 90s. And we're reissuing it now because we really thought that it, number one, deserved a new audience, and we were really excited to give it a new package. And the reason this book is so special, other than the fact that it's a gorgeously written book, is that it holds a special place in YA history, which is that it is widely considered the first own voices novel to be published by an Asian American author featuring an Asian American character. The new edition, or not edition, but the reissue has not only a gorgeous cover, as you can see, it's even more gorgeous in real life. It has an introduction by YA author of the book Wicked Fox, Katherine Cho, that kind of frames it for a new audience. And the read, even though it was originally published a few decades ago, it's very contemporary, it's very relevant. And I'd say good comps are Frankly in Love and also Eleanor and Park, but remember that it predates both. So really quickly, 17-year-old Ellen Sung just wants to be like everyone else at her all-white school, but she deals with racist bullies who won't let her forget that she's different. She is part of the only Korean-American family in their rural Minnesota town. She has to navigate normal teen life, which is tumultuous enough as it is, but she also finds herself falling for Tom Sandel, who is a popular football player, and to her surprise, he falls for her too. Ellen needs to find her own voice, one that defies both her peers at school and also the disapproval of her more traditional parents. So Marie is an amazing author, and this is an amazing accomplishment already, but she has gone on to kind of grow her profile tremendously since her debut, and she's more involved in the literary scene community than ever. She publishes regularly in the Atlantic, Teen Vogue, among other outlets, and also is a founding member of the Asian American Writers Workshop. So that is Finding My Voice, and we're so excited to bring it to a new audience. Now we have Wider Than the Sky by Katherine Rothschild. Speaking of gorgeous covers, I absolutely love this one. Katherine Rothschild is a debut author, so she is new to Soho Teen, of course, and this is her first YA novel, although you wouldn't know it by how elegantly and expertly and also very charmingly it's written, even though it deals with some pretty heavy topics. So this one centers around twin sisters, but specifically Sabine, who is, one of these sisters. And it takes place in the wake of their father's sudden death. And they uncover a secret that rips open their world. And really, I think fundamentally this book explores some pretty key concepts for teens especially, which is kind of big loss for the first time, pain, and also the power of forgiveness, specifically within the context of one's own family. And I just want to, linger on this praise really quick because I think it's really excellent praise by one of my favorite YA authors, Misa Segura. That is, Sabine's struggle to reconcile the memory of her father with the man he really was and to make room in her life for his hopes as well as her own cuts the heart of what it means to love someone unconditionally. And that is very true of this book. So, aside from this devastating loss, Blythe and Sabine are going through quite a lot. And 16-year-old Sabine doesn't really have much in common with their identical twin, but when their father dies from an unexpected illness, each copes with loss in their own way. Sabine has this habit of poeting, which is an uncontrollable quirk of bursting into poetry at inappropriate moments. And Blythe obsesses over getting into MIT even more than she did before, which is their father's alma mater. Neither can offer each other much support, at least not until their emotionally detached mother moves them into a ramshackle Bay Area mansion owned by a stranger named Charlie. And what brings them together is this strange figure of Charlie. And they unite in a mission to figure out who Charlie is and why he seems to know everything about them. And they quickly make a life-changing discovery. which is that their father died of an HIV-related infection. Charlie was his lover, and their mother knows the whole story because they were in a polyamorous relationship. The revelation unravels Sabine's world. And her sister kind of takes everything in stride, which has caused some conflict between them. That is also an important part of the book. And once again, at odds with her sister, Sabine chooses to learn all she can about her father, the one that she now feels she never knew. And then ultimately, she must decide if she can embrace his last wish for their family legacy, along with forgiveness. And I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I want to give a quick look at what that legacy is that they learn that this mansion their father wanted to turn into transitional housing for LGBTQ youth. So there is like a very specific and interesting plot there that I think, speaks to a very important activism that Sabine finds herself involved with. So that whole package that is wider than the sky, again, a poignant tale of love, grief, and forgiveness. Right, next up we have Bones of a Saint. I guess I don't have to keep going on about how amazing our covers are, but wow, this one actually really does capture something amazing about this book. It has this very kind of almost pulpy graphic novel-y feel about it, which I think this cover captures extremely well. So, Bones of a Saint by Grant Farley. This is another debut. I feel really lucky that we have a bunch of incredible debuts coming up in 2021. And this one, I think importantly, it's important to say that this one has gotten so many comparisons to The Outsiders. So if you're looking for a version of that or like that intrigues you, I would definitely suggest checking out Bones of a Saint. Also, we've had the galley for this one for quite a while because it was originally scheduled in 2020, but we moved it because of COVID, and it has racked up praise, especially from educators. So it is worth checking out if that, is of interest to you. I'll go a little bit into the plot. This one is actually set in Northern California in the late 70s, but it is a timeless coming-of-age story. It's a little bit gritty, and it examines the nature of evil specifically, the art of storytelling, and also the possibility of redemption. It came in with a bunch of blurbs. I've only included 2 there, but I think that just speaks to the quality and the writing and the specialness of this book. A lot of the blurbs say things like you see on the video in front of you. It's nothing like I've ever read, or it's the kind of book that no one writes anymore. It's very prose driven, and it's very kind of, it harkens back to kind of a different age of, I think, young adult fiction. So I haven't even told you about the plot yet, and I'll tell you a little bit about it now, but that is 15-year-old RJ Armante has never known a life outside of his kind of dead-end home of Archangel, California. The Blackjacks still rule as they have for generations. That is the local gang, and they lure the poorest kids into their monopoly on petty crime. For years, RJ has stayed out of it, except at the beginning of the book, that era kind of comes to an end, and he finds himself roped in. When the Blackjacks come knocking, they want RJ to kind of prey upon an old loner, but RJ is at his breaking point. It's not about the gang who rules the town. It's about Charlie, his youngest brother, who's disabled. It's about Roxanne, the girl he can't quite reach. It's about the kids in his crew who have nothing to live for, and if RJ is to resist, he must fight to free Archangel of its past. And it really is, and I think in a way that seems like a little much, but is actually totally on tone for YA literature. It really is kind of a battle for the soul in a way. And this boy navigating good and evil and what he has to do not only to survive, but to find himself and to stand up for what he believes in. So if you're all intrigued by that, I encourage you to dip into the first couple pages, and I guarantee you will know right away whether or not this book is for you. So that is Bones of a Saint by Grant Farley. Great. And now I'm going to move on to Between the Bliss and Me by Lizzie Mason, who you may know Lizzie Mason already. First of all, I hope you do. She is a total sweetheart, and she has been in publishing for quite a long time. For a long time as the former publicity director at Bloomsbury Kids, and now she currently works at Page Street Kids. And we're really, really happy and honored that we publish not only her debut, which was The Art of Losing, but Between the Bliss and Me, which is her sophomore novel, which will be released in spring 2021. And Lizzie is excellent at delivering moving novels about really difficult issues. So in her first book, Art of Losing, she wrote about alcohol addiction in teens. And in this book, she moves on to more specifically mental illness in the context of young romance, and one teen just kind of aspiring to start her life really in kind of the big wide world. So I'll tell you a bit about the plot. This book centers around 18-year-old Sydney Holman, who announces that she has decided to attend NYU, much to the disagreement of her overprotective mom, who is devastated that Sydney won't be commuting to Rutgers like they'd previously discussed, that she'll be instead going to live in the big city. So at first, Sydney is really excited about this. She's going to be also close to Off Limits but Jeremy Grayson, a guitar prodigy who's going to Juilliard in the fall, and also who very much is not single. But while she dreams of her new life, Sydney discovers a world-changing truth about her father, who she's been kind of previously told left when she was little due to a drug addiction, which isn't entirely false, but she discovers that he actually has schizophrenia and is living on the streets of New York City. So she seizes the opportunity to get to know him and to understand who he is, and also learn what may lie in store for her if she too is diagnosed, because she has a higher likelihood of being diagnosed because it is genetic. Or it can be, and it means that she has a higher likelihood to be diagnosed with this illness that her father deals with and has changed his life quite a bit or impacted his life quite a bit. So even as she continues to fall for Grayson, Sydney is faced with a difficult decision. Should she stay close to home so her mom can watch over her, or follow the desire to take risks and discover her true self? And I won't, tell you much more so as not to give spoilers, but I would definitely recommend this one for fans of Jandy Nelson, fans of Robert Benway, and also Kathleen Glasgow. And as you can see, she's already racked up quite a bit of praise from some really amazing young adult authors. So that is Between the Bliss and Me by Lizzie Mason. We can't wait for you to check it out. And then I'm really excited to tell you about Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know by Samira Ahmed, which came out, feels like a lifetime ago, but this year in early 2020. And this is her third novel. We're so excited to keep publishing her. She first wrote her debut novel, Love, Hate, and Other Filters, in 2018, followed it up with Internment by Little Brown Young Readers. And her third novel is so exciting and so fresh and so fun, while it also gets to the heart of what she does best, which is these awesome stories about feminism, activism, and just finding yourself with a touch of romance thrown in. So this one centers around a teen, an aspiring art historian in Paris, who begins to unravel the kind of mystery of this 19th century era Muslim woman whose story may have been appropriated by the really important romantic figures, including Lord Byron, Eugene Delacroix, and also Alexandre Dumas. And she unravels this mystery with kind of the assistance of the great-great-great-great-great-grandson of Alexandre Dumas, who is a Parisian. So I won't say much more. It is excellent, and like I said, so much fun. So if you haven't checked it out, please go ahead and check it out. Next, I want to just talk briefly about the More Happy Than Not Deluxe Edition, Adam Silvera's debut novel, with a brand new introduction by Angie Thomas, a new final chapter, which is a more happy ending for Aaron Soto, and also an afterword about where it all began. This one is so moving, so wonderful, especially for fans of More Happy Than Not, who will surely absolutely have loved having a new, more happy ending for Aaron Soto. So that it's more happy than not, as moving and relevant as it was when Adam initially published it 5 years ago. So grab a copy if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Here's my contact info. Please reach out to say hello, reach out to request galleys, or, just to chat. I am here, and I hope to hear from you soon.